Okay, you guys, welcome back to the channel. I actually had some heat going on out here, and then my boyfriend opened the door. It was a cold night last night. What's happening over there? I don't know what that is. All right, so at the end of the last video, I told you guys that I was going to be cutting the affected leaves off of my big, okay, it's not big. It looks big on camera, but it's really not that big. Monstera Adansonii. It had been sitting in this big pot with soil that would not dry out until I put my dehydrator in here. And I think all this spotting was caused from the excess moisture. I'm not sure, but the soil's dried out now. And I'm gonna cut, like I said, I'm gonna cut the affected leaves back. There's lots of new growth points on there, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to disinfect my cutters with some alcohol just so I don't, risk anything. So I've got the whole day off, you guys. I'm so excited. I don't have to do anything. My boyfriend and his brother are going to help their dad move a truck. So I've got the house to myself. I've got all the free time I want today. I have no responsibilities until tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a full day of responsibilities. But for today, I am very happy and grateful. So I'm going to tilt the camera down while I'm doing this so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully. Beautiful. Okay. So I really, actually, do I even need the cutters, or can I just pull them off? This plant is going to look so bare once I do this. I guess I could just pull them off. I don't really even need the cutters, but I will use them if I do need them. Oh, I feel so terrible. This plant is going to be so naked. But like I said, there are a lot of new growth points on here, so I don't think it's going to be bare for very long. It is winter here-ish, like this. Today and yesterday have been winter. I don't know what the rest of the week will bring. Oh, the joys of living in Florida. So this is a leaf that started to unfurl and got some crispies on it. I don't think I can pull it off without ruining the new leaf that's coming in, so I'm just going to cut that guy off. So yes, it has been winter the last 2 days here in Florida, but my plants are still growing, so I'm not terribly worried about doing this. I think it'll be just fine. I hope. That's what I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed for that. Here's another one that I don't know if I can pull back without injuring the plant. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I've got some plants over here that have been struggling a bit, and I was thinking maybe they would do a little better if I put them in my terrarium. So this little syngonium I got as a small cutting, or maybe it was pulled out of one of the dish garden arrangements that we sell at my job. I'm a florist, for any of you that don't know. And I got it to start growing, and then it died, and then it's growing, and it dies, it grows. I've always heard that syngoniums are super easy to care for and really fast growers. I have been struggling with this guy, and I have another one, a different type, over on my shelf that's finally doing okay, but I think I'm going to put this guy in my terrarium. And then I've had this begonia for years and years and years. I keep killing it. It comes back. I kill it again. Same story. So I'm going to put this in my terrarium as well. And then here's a prayer plant, Tamaranta, also a cutting from, I say cutting, but really when we get the dish gardens in, we have to clean them up a bit. And sometimes there's pieces of plants that just don't look great. And nobody in my shop cares about plants except me. So whenever I see them throw something away, I always pull it out. Or sometimes they'll ask me if I want it and I take it. But this is going to go in my terrarium as well. But before we get there, let's finish this task first. I did not realize that pretty much every leaf on here was affected by this. So that's, that kind of sucks, but hopefully when it comes back, it will be even more beautiful and full. And with time, we will forget that we ever did this. That's what I'm hoping for. Yes, so basically every leaf is coming off. Oh, but now I can see very clearly where the Cebu Blue is growing. I'm gonna let that keep going. Oh no! When did I do that? I knocked one of my new leaves off. So this leaf has just a little yellow section there. Not too worried about it. This one looks pretty good. This guy has a little bit of damage, but not much. This guy, just a couple little spots. And this guy is okay for the most part. So we're left with 4 big leaves, and then we've got several that are unfurling. It looks so bare. You poor thing. It's gonna be okay. So we're gonna feed this guy. I've noticed that he's got some, I don't know, he just looks like he could use some food. So I've got some, I have to grab it, but I've got some fertilizer. I wish I had my liquid dirt fertilizer, but I've used all that, which reminds me I need to order some more. So what I've got right now is left over from a couple of years ago before I knew any better. I've got some Miracle Grow houseplant fertilizer, and I will give this guy. I'm a little concerned because all the water I have is very cold because it was cold last night. Let me get you back up here. So I've been trying to, I've had the heat on, or my dehydrator going, and I've been trying to warm the air and also the water that I'm going to be using to water these guys and fertilize them. And I don't think it's worked so far because, well, the door kept getting opened and all the heat is escaping. And then I had to turn it off to film. Look at all my leaves, you guys. And I don't want to put cold water on them because I don't want to shock them. Even though they say use room temperature water, and technically the room temperature right now is as cold as the water, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. I don't know. But okay, so here is all the damage. It's so sad. I don't like it. All right, so I'll throw all this away. Now we will shift our focus to getting these plants into the terrarium. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna set you guys up for this. Okay, I think that's gonna be all right for now. If I need to show you something that's in this corner, I'll just move the camera around. But for right now, I think this is okay. So I've got, let me clean my fingers off first. I've been sanitizing my fingers after doing pruning with my nails, because if it applies to your cutters, I think it applies to the cutters that God gave you as well, right? I'm seeing a yellowing leaf down here. I'll just take that guy off. Now the fun part, figuring out where everybody's gonna go. And I know I'm gonna make a huge mess here because I've got dirt. I need something. So first, my little syngonium. I was thinking about putting in this corner, but maybe I'll stick it here in the center. I've got some height going. I don't know if you can see, but my Adansonii, no, that is not right. My Monstera Adansonii is taking off. Where's the leaf? It's already halfway up the tank, and it's gonna need to come out before I realize it. All right, what can I dump my dirt in? All right, let's get this guy out of his little home. Oh, he's got some roots on him. I'm not gonna take all of the dirt off because it's gonna need some. Most of this, like on this end and this corner, you can't really see there is soil. The rest of this is mostly just sphagnum moss because I'd thrown some cuttings in here and just was trying to get them to sprout. As you can see, it worked. I'm just gonna separate some of these vines. Hopefully I don't kill anybody. And I'm gonna plop this guy in here. I'll make sure there's some sphagnum moss below the plant because it is cold and I don't want its roots to touch the glass and then end up freezing. I may end up putting some more sphagnum moss around the plants after I put them in here, just to make sure that they have coverage, and it'll help with moisture retention and all that. I have a Hindu rope cutting right here. I don't know if you can see past that leaf right here. And I put 2 of them in here. One of them looked like it had mostly died back, but what's this? A stick. Why do I have a stick in here? Weird. But it is rooted in, so I'm going to leave it alone. And then this big guy here is also rooted in. I've got leaves growing under the moss. Okay, so the syngonium is in there. Right, next I'm going to get my Maranta in there. Oh, wow. So it has roots. It's just not thriving. And I just ripped most of the roots off. So we're probably going to be starting all over again with this guy. This is the, can you see that? It's so backlit. The little hair-like roots. And then this leaf here is pretty much dead. So I'm going to go ahead and pinch that one off, maybe. Yep, got it. And let's see. I'm going to move you around because I think I'm going to stick him in this corner. Let's see. Can you see? Yeah. All right. I'm going to put this guy in this corner by my peace lily. Yeah, I'll have to add some. So there's those guys. I don't know what you're seeing because I can't see. My begonia. Like I said, I've had this guy forever. I just can't seem to keep him alive. Well, he's alive, clearly. He's still growing, but I can't get him to... He did well over the summer, and then he just went kaput. So that has rooted in place. This guy here, I just stuck the pot in because I thought it could use some extra humidity, and he has fully rooted into the sphagnum moss, so that's going to be fun trying to get that guy out. I need a space big enough. I think everybody else is rooted in here as well. Well, here's a little elephant ear. It's looking beautiful and healthy, so that's cool. I need a kind of a bigger space here, and there's vines just all over in here. This is going to be such... It's going to be interesting when everything is fully grown in here. Okay, so I've got to figure out how to get this guy apart. It did not have deep roots, that's for sure. Where are the roots? It's just going to stay like this because I don't even know. I don't even know what their roots are supposed to look like. You can't see any of this. But that's... What am I looking at here? Are there roots? Is there a death cage in there? Okay. Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to add some water, even though I feel like it's not that cold, I don't think, maybe, I don't know. Add some water here. Just to get them going. Oh, I hope that's not too cold. So my Mandula pothos has done so good since being put in here. I had it for a long time and it wasn't growing at all. So it was just like this little bit. And this is all new since being in here. It is changing a bit. You see how these leaves look different from these leaves? And this little vine right here, where all the leaves are different, it has roots
its own roots growing into the soil. So I think I'm going to trim this guy right here and let this be its own plant.
Because I've been waiting a while to be able to propagate that guy, and it just didn't seem like it was going to happen because he just wasn't growing at all. And now that he has, I'd like to have another plant of him. So I'm going to chop that. All I'm going to do is just chop in between the nodes here and let that guy become its own plant. Maybe it's not rooted quite as much as I thought it was because it fell over. I thought the roots were like in there. So let's just give it a little hole, cover it up, and then I'm gonna water that in a little. Hopefully I didn't just make a mistake and it starts rotting or something. Before I cover it up, I just want to spray more peroxide water, just trying to stay ahead of this fungal stuff that I was battling. It almost took out all my plants. I mean, it spread like wildfire. Maybe I showed it on my main channel when everybody was looking really bad. I mean, it was gross. Why I said gross. It was bad. It was scary. I thought I was going to lose everybody. So I just want to make sure I'm staying on top of that. I try to clean the glass. Let's see if this helps at all. Alright, so I'm going to put the glass back on. I have wasps in here. I don't know where they're hiding. They can't fly when it's cold. I didn't know that. My boyfriend told me, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. But he's right. When it drops below a certain temperature, wasps can't fly. I don't know if that applies to bees as well, but it definitely applies to wasps. I've seen it firsthand. If I leave my heater off in here during the winter, you can see them walking around, but they can't fly. As soon as I turn it on and the temperature rises enough, they start flying around. I wish I had an appropriate lid, like an actual for this aquarium lid, but you know, you work with what you've got, and this is what I've got, so that's what it is. Okay, lid's back on. Everybody has been treated. All my plants have been moved into their respective new homes. And we got some water in there. Before I turn the camera around, this caladium is just as dramatic as my peace lilies. It's just a little thirsty. It's not even that bad. Maybe. I'm just going to drop it down in this bucket here. It's got peroxide water in it. I'm going to let it soak up what it wants. And then we'll put that back. So far, this problem issue on this leaf has not spread. So I'm really happy about that. I've still got lots of work that needs to be done. Oh, I need to fertilize my Adansonii. So let's do that real quick before I end this video. Alright, like I said, this is leftover from a while back. I used to have a vegetable garden. Oh, why is it wet in here? What in the world? Can somebody explain this to me? This has been a dry box of crystallized fertilizer for at least 2 years. It has not set out in the rain. I don't understand what has happened here. It's all turned into liquid. I mean, there's still some crystals in there. I can see it and feel it, but how did it turn into liquid? How did this happen? That is the weirdest thing. So I have no idea how much fertilizer I'm actually scooping in right now because it's... I guess I'm just going to put a few little drops because I don't want to overdo it. I don't understand how that happened. If anybody knows, please share with the rest of the class because that makes no sense to me. All right, I'm going to mix this up. I know I could do more than that just by the color, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to burn these leaves. I'm going to give it some around the roots. Hopefully this is not enough water to soak all the way through and wet the floor, but then there's another plant that I kind of feel like could use some fertilizer. Actually, I need to go ahead and repot this guy. I may just go ahead and do that now. If this video gets too long, I'm sorry, you guys. When I have days off, my favorite thing to do is either come in here, work on my plants and film videos, or go out to the woods and look for mushrooms and stuff and film videos. So that's what I spend all my time doing. But this guy has one singular root coming out of the bottom of his pot. I don't have any bigger pots. I have a taller pot, but I don't know if the opening is as big. Let's just go for it, right? I grabbed the plant and the pole at the same time, and this is, oh, I just broke part of the plant. Great. How do you do this with plants on poles? I've never, there we go. I get this root through here. Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay. So yes, it probably needed to repot. See if it'll fit in here. Sweet. Look at that. Perfect fit. I don't even have to add any soil to it. Maybe we'll go do some plant supply shopping today, or I mean, my heart wants to go buy more plants today, but my mind knows that that's probably not a good idea. I should get some bigger pots for all these plants that just keep growing, but I really just want to go to my favorite nurseries. Now I'm going to water this guy with some of this fertilizer water because if you can see it, it's got some stuff going on. It hasn't really grown much for me. Well, I guess it has. Looks like it's shingling, doesn't it? All right, so I fed those two guys. Now I need to clean up my mess. I don't know at what point my camera stopped recording. I hope that I got all of that in there. I'm seeing some other work that needs to be done. Let me check my footage and see what I left off on. Okay, yeah, this video is definitely going to be long enough as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me again in the plant room, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!